The history of Africa stretches back millions of years, with early human ancestors evolving on the continent and then migrating outward. The earliest evidence of hominids in Africa dates back to around 7 million years ago. However, it wasn't until about 3 million years ago that the first members of Homo genus appeared, including Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and Homo sapiens. Around 10,000 BC, the Sahara region was much wetter than it is today, and humans actually lived in that area. Over time, however, the climate changed, and the Sahara became the desert that we know today, forcing people who lived there to move to other regions. This led to the development of various societies and civilizations throughout Africa. One of the first notable civilizations in Africa was ancient Egypt, which emerged around 3000 BC around the Nile River Valley. Now, we've already talked about ancient Egypt, so we won't go into that too much today, but just remember that it was known for its advanced writing system, its art, its architecture, and don't forget, it also included the construction of the pyramids. Egypt's influence spread throughout the region, including to neighboring Nubia, which was home to the Kingdom of Kush. In West Africa, the Kingdom of Ghana emerged in the 6th century, controlling the Trans-Saharan trade route that connected sub-Saharan Africa with North Africa and the Mediterranean. The Kingdom of Ghana was followed by the Mali Empire, which emerged in the 13th century and was known for its wealth as well as for its legendary ruler, Mansa Musa. In East Africa, the Kingdom of Aksum emerged in the 1st century and became a major center of trade and religion. The kingdom was known for its unique writing system and its role in spreading Christianity throughout the region. According to legend, the kingdom's ruler, Ezana, converted to Christianity in the 4th century after hearing about the religion from a Syrian merchant. Under Ezana's rule, Christianity was made the official religion of the kingdom, and he began to promote its spread throughout the entire region. He built churches and monasteries and sent missionaries to neighboring kingdoms and regions to spread the faith. One of the most famous missionaries was Frumentius, a Syrian who was shipwrecked on the coast of what is now Ethiopia in the 4th century. He was taken to the royal court of the Aksumite king, where he eventually became the king's advisor and also began to spread the Christian faith throughout the region. Another important figure in the spread of Christianity in Aksum was Saint Yared, who is credited with developing the unique form of liturgical Christian music that's still used in Ethiopia today. He was also responsible for the development of the Ge'ez language, which became the liturgical language of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. As Christianity spread throughout Aksum, it also began to influence the kingdom's art and architecture. Christian symbols began showing up in Aksumite art, and churches were built using unique style of architecture that blended elements of the local traditions with some of those Christian symbols. The spread of Christianity in Aksum had a profound impact on that region and helped shape its culture, society, and religious practices. Today, Christianity remains a major religion in Ethiopia, with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church being one of the oldest Christian churches in the world, tracing its roots back to the Kingdom of Aksum. The Aksumite Empire was later replaced by the Ethiopian Empire, which ruled the region for centuries. But Christianity was not the only religion to spread in Africa. Islam spread to Africa in the 7th century, following the death of the Prophet Muhammad in 632. The spread of Islam was facilitated by trade, migration, and conquest. Arab traders and merchants began to travel to Africa, which established commercial links and introduced Islam to the region. One of the earliest converts to Islam in Africa was an Ethiopian named Bilal ibn Rabah, who became a close companion of the Prophet Muhammad. Bilal's conversion helped to establish an early link between the Islamic world and Africa. In the early 8th century, Arab forces began to conquer parts of North Africa, including Egypt, Tunisia, and Morocco. As a result, many Berber tribes and people of those regions converted to Islam. Over time, Islam actually became the dominant religion of North Africa, and the region became an important center of Islamic scholarship and culture. In West Africa, Islam spread gradually through trade and through contact with Arab traders and scholars. One of the first West African kingdoms to adopt Islam was the Kingdom of Ghana, which became a Muslim state in the 11th century. Other West African states, including the Mali Empire and the Songhai Empire, also adopted Islam, with many of their rulers and elites also converting to the faith. In East Africa, Islam spread throughout the region by trade and migration, with Arab traders and migrants establishing settlements along the coast. These settlements, known as the Swahili city-states, became the centers of Islamic culture and trade. Over time, Islam spread inland, and many African societies in the region converted to the faith. Let's shift now to the beginning of exploration and colonization of Africa. In the 15th century, European powers began exploring and colonizing Africa, seeking to exploit its resources and to establish trade routes. The Portuguese were the first to establish trade links with African kingdoms, followed then by the Dutch, the British, and the French. By the 19th century, European powers had carved up most of Africa into colonies, leading to the forced exploitation of resources, the slave trade, and the suppression of local cultures. In response to European colonialism, African nations began to resist and fight for independence. The first African country to gain independence was Ghana in 1957, followed by many others over the next few decades. However, the legacy of colonialism has had lasting effects on the African nations, including economic inequality, political instability, and social unrest. Today, Africa is a diverse continent with more than 50 countries, each with its own unique history, culture, and challenges. While the continent has made significant progress in recent decades, there are still many challenges to overcome, including poverty, disease, and political instability. However, there's also much hope and potential for growth and development in the years to come.